Hello and welcome to the director's commentary for Stay. I am your director, Pete Gibbs. So we start with the titles here. The title was meant to be really short, really sweet, really simple, but still give you that off-put feeling that the rest of the film is going to give you. I wanted to get you in the mindset as an audience that something's not right, and I went for that glitchy feel for the title because of that. So the actual film idea came from a buddy of mine, and if you look in the titles, Jason Murphy is a good friend of mine. We were on our way back from my first film festival, where I had entered a film, a mini documentary on bipolarism called Good Enough. And Jason decided to throw it out there that he had a film idea, and he pitched it to me, and I really liked the idea. I loved the story, so I ran with it. So now we're in the kitchen, and the kitchen scene was actually one of the hardest scenes for me to get set up. There wasn't a lot of space to work with, and I just could not get the lighting right for some reason. The space was really hard, as I said, but I kept on getting these weird shadows, and it just didn't light well. So I actually, one, two, I think there were three or four different lights in different spots just to get the lighting right. And there were still some weird shadows, but I think it turned out pretty well. The other major problem I had was the acoustics in this apartment that we shot in most of the film. All the audio came out with this weird echo to it, but I think it turned out okay after correcting it in post. The living room scene was actually shot in the middle of the night, and just outside of the apartment, behind that sliding glass door, I set up two soft boxes and in post added that glow to give it that artificial look. I wanted that to be the first indicator to the audience that there just wasn't there was something that just wasn't right. Something didn't feel right. And that glow was meant to do that, meant to give you that off-putting feel. So now we're getting into the actual home video scene. And the home video scene wasn't originally part of this film. It was added to break up the monotony of the feeling of the film because it is a very down feeling throughout the film. It gives you that feeling that something's not right. And I added it to break it up and to actually show and give you some background on this couple on how happy they could be. And I have to give David some credit. David is the gentleman here who played Paul. He helped a lot with getting those set up properly and became an impromptu director of photography during that scene. So right here, I love that tear. That tear was actually real, and Caitlin could cry on command. It was beautiful. What you don't know is it took about 5 minutes to get that tear to come out. And yeah, so I mean, it turned out really well, and I'm really happy for how it looked. But it did take quite a long time to get to happen. And Caitlin was actually pregnant during this film, so we actually had to have her wear quite a bit of baggy clothing to hide that early stage pregnancy bump. So now we're coming up into the hallway scene, and it was an incredibly small lighting setup in this hallway scene that's coming up right about now. We used just the ceiling lighting in the apartment and nothing else. The space constraints made it very difficult to set up any other lighting, but I think it really worked, and it gave this ominous feel to the actors. And right here, that push-pull, that was a last-minute decision that I'm so glad I did. I feel like it added so much to the panic feel that she had. So right here in the doorway, there was originally supposed to be an effect when he opened the door. There was supposed to be a shadow there, right in the light. But I ran out of time in post to get that effect added, so a little bit disappointing, but I still think it turned out really well. Now here, where David actually spits up the blood, it was a panic moment for me. A good friend of mine let me use his apartment as the set for a majority of this film. And when David spit that blood out, he spit it out a little bit too far and it landed on the carpet. So I spent about 10 minutes trying to clean that blood out of the carpet, as to leave the apartment as it was when we got there. And here, when she's talking to the unknown beings, the light coming in on her like that, I thought it was a beautiful touch, but I can't take any credit for that. So my wife is always there to help edit my films, and I get to the point where I've watched the film so many times that I really can't see how to make it better or what could really add to it. And my wife really liked the lighting in the doorway, that effect, and then how it kind of crept in on David's head while he was laying on the ground. And she was like, well, why doesn't the light just overtake Caitlin as she's delivering that line to kind of give that feeling that we're resetting? And I really liked the idea, and after putting it in, I couldn't imagine not having it. It added a great feeling here, I think, and the transition from that lighting into him waking up again was just beautiful. And in the end here, so here's what I will say. After having about 100 people watch this and give me their viewpoint on it, I probably should have ended it differently, and I might come out with a director's cut ending eventually. But unfortunately, right now, Caitlin is about to have her baby, so I don't think I could call them back in to reshoot that end scene. What I really wish I would have done here, and I'm going to give away what this film is about right now. What I really wish I would have done is the second time around, while she's sitting on the bed and he wakes up from the dream that's actually not a dream, I wish that I would have had her in a straitjacket and have a insane asylum orderly walk in to give her medication. So what this film is actually supposed to be about is she witnessed her boyfriend or husband, Paul, get shot while protecting the house. Somebody broke into the house and he tried to stop them and he got shot. He fell over and he died. She checked herself into an insane asylum, and while she's been there, she's relived this moment over and over and over, and she realizes that she's really reliving the moment over and over and over again. But he's just a figment of her imagination, so he has no clue what's going on. And the shadowy figure that was supposed to be in the door is actually supposed to be one of the orderlies, and she's trying to escape, and the orderly is stopping her. Now, if this was a feature-length film, it would be this, what you have seen here in the 5 minutes, happening over and over again for the first, 25% of the film. And that would give you the establishing of she's reliving this moment. But each time would be different, just slightly different. She's trying a different thing to keep him inside, and she's trying to keep him alive. But she's on this experimental medication that they don't really know what the effects are. And because of that, she's reliving this moment, realizing that she's reliving the moment, and having a really hard time with it. So that's the end of my director's commentary for Stay. I hope you enjoy, and everyone have a good day.